Well, I'm so excited that you guys joined us. We'll hit record so we can record it for the people that are, going to watch the playback later. But just really what I wanted to do was kind of give you guys a little bit of an example of something that we've been doing that's worked really well on our team, and I think has helped for a lot of people's growth. Just because it's simple, and using technology is definitely, I think this day and age, is kind of what we've come to. People's lives are really fast and busy, and it's not sit on the porch and stay a while anymore, which I wish it was, because I like that. So you got to kind of meet people where they are. And the Zoom trainings, we've been doing on our team for a while, and they've gone great. Like, this is a super easy medium to use, record, replay, so that everybody can be a part of it. But another diamond gave me the idea to actually do our prospecting through Zoom. And so I started trying it out with just some smaller groups of people to see if it was something that I could really duplicate, to see if it was something that actually produced growth for our team, because not everything works for everybody's team. All the team cultures are different. The different type of people, different teams are sponsoring, sometimes do and don't respond, to that. But a lot of our team has taken these Zoom opportunity meetings, and it's gone really well. We do love those big online events that we do. Those are fun. But for the person leading those online events, they're very long. They're extremely consuming, just the preparation for them. And then during the actual 2 hours of posting, you almost can't even get up to go to the bathroom. So it can just be, it got to be something, I just dreaded it. You know what I mean? Like, it was good. And so whenever something's working, you just want to keep doing it. But honestly, for me, fitting it into my life and with my family, it just required too much preparation. When these started taking off, the Zoom opportunity meetings, what I loved about them was exactly what Lance has been teaching us in his training. In the book that we're doing with John Maxwell, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. John Maxwell states that 55% of communication is body language, right? Through the Zoom, and 38% is tone of voice. So through this Zoom opportunity meeting, what are they seeing? They're seeing your body language, which is the majority, over half of your communication to them. They're getting to hear your tone versus just reading information on a screen, through like the typical opportunity events that we've done. The other great thing is they get to ask their questions, and we get to do it in a more intimate format like we're doing right now. With just a few of us on here, we can really concentrate and focus on each person and get their needs met. And when they feel like they've had their questions answered, and then they've connected with that third-party validation of an upline or something within your team, then they really feel connected to what you're doing, and they understand what they're joining or going to be a part of. So I told Allison, while I'm here, let's just get together, and I'm just going to give a brief overview. You guys are going to be my participants, okay? For this purpose, I'm going to ask questions that actually apply to you as ambassadors, so I can help you with your team. But what we would do if this was an opportunity meeting is you would be a prospect. And so I would be answering and asking any questions you had about the products or the opportunity. And we'd just be going through it that way. So I typically start out welcoming everybody to the opportunity event. I tell them, I introduce myself and tell them who I am. I give them a really brief testimony of my own personal use with the products and my journey. I say brief, less than probably 3 minutes tops is what I do. Sometimes 5 minutes, it just depends. And then I go into talking about our triplex combo. I say, I know many of you on this call, you may just be here to be a fly on the wall. You may be here because you are interested in trying the products, or you're interested in trying the products and joining our opportunity. So we're going to talk about a little bit of each one. But first, I want to introduce you to the triplex combo. And I hold up my bag of Slim and the BioCleanse and the ProBio 5 just to kind of give them a visual of what that is. And I really briefly just give an overview of the triplex combo. I talk about the Slim and a few of its benefits. I talk about what it tastes like and how simple it is to make, because I think those are the big things for people. I then talk about the BioCleanse and the ProBio 5, how they go together, how they're a pair, and what they can do for the body. Obviously being very compliant and sticking to the language that corporate has given us. I tell them that we start pretty much, I would say 95% of our people come into our company on the triplex combo. I explain to them it's the foundation of what we do. Anything you're wanting to achieve in your health journey or your weight loss journey begins with the triplex combo. And then we will add in additional products for you to help you meet those goals. So I tell them then a little bit about X Factor, and I tell them a little bit about Mega X. And I say, if you want the complete system of just general health and wellness support, these are the 5 products that me and my family take every day. And so I just tell them really brief things, maybe one sentence about about the Mega X, one sentence about the multivitamin, just giving them an idea, right? Not going into a long, drawn out thing about the products, because they really just need the basics, and too much information can overwhelm people at first. Also, these are prospects. So the likelihood that they've already been receiving information about the products is really high, right? Because you've invited them to this call. They've probably seen, maybe something you've sent them or something online. So we're really just kind of giving them a brief overview of what we have to offer. I then tell them, if you're interested in weight loss or pain relief, we have things for those. We have a new Edge product. I talk a lot about, Edge and Block really quickly because there are brand new products. Edge is our 4th top seller now. Block comes in at number 5. So Triplex obviously is our number 1 seller. I'm guessing the X Factor and Mega X fall in our 3 and 4 category, or our number 2 and 3 spot, because how popular that they are. So I just kind of briefly touch on that. Then I say, then I start talking about the opportunity. And I say, I know some of you may not be interested in our opportunity, but I'm going to briefly go over some of the benefits, because maybe you'd like to just get your products for free. Okay, so I kind of address it from that direction. I say, even if you've joined us tonight and you just wanted some information about the product, who doesn't love free product? Well, with our company, it's very simple to join and get your products for free. And I talk about, with just a few customers taking the same products you're taking each month, you can get your products for free. I talk about a little bit of my business testimony, how I started this product and had no idea what it would do for me or my family. But once I discovered what the benefits were and how life-changing it had started to be for me, I couldn't help but share with other people. And so it was never about selling. It was never about starting a brand new business. It was just, we all naturally share things we love. And that is what happens to most Plexus ambassadors who join us. They say, I'm just joining for the discount. And before long, they fall in love with our products. And it's so natural to share. We have social media, so it makes it really simple to share, because not only can you share in conversation, but you can also share on social media pages, which really help a general widespread audience, get to see what you're doing. So once I do that, then I open up the floor for questions. So at this point, I've been talking about 15 minutes, and let me take that back. I will open the floor for questions. However, if I have ambassadors on the call with me, which sometimes happens, as soon as I'm done giving my spiel and talking about the products and the opportunity, I call on 2 ambassadors from the chat to give a brief testimony. And so ahead of time, I say to them, look, we're trying to keep these calls under 30 minutes. Right? Because this is just a brief opportunity overview. You don't want to chew up people's whole evening. You don't want them to feel like they got too much information. It's kind of like maybe some of you have done this before. Have you ever been told like, hey, call this phone number and you can listen in, right? And it's exactly what our Plexus Opportunity calls are every Wednesday that come out, where Sheila Medina goes through every product very briefly, right? It takes her no time to talk about every single product we have. And then they give 2 testimonies. This is exactly what we're doing in video format, in live video format versus the recorded content, which is awesome. I love those opportunity calls. They're amazing to listen to. But it's much more engaging if it's happening in real life and we're all together, right? So we're doing that exact same format. So then I would call on them and ask them to give their testimony briefly. There's so much power in hearing each person's testimony. They heard my testimony, and then they heard the testimony of 2 other ambassadors. Then I open up the floor for questions, and this is where it gets really, really good. Because it might be kind of silent at first, but before you know it, I usually say, if you don't want to ask your question out loud, if you'll just open the chat box at the bottom and type in your question, you can remain anonymous and I can answer it for you for the benefit of everyone. And so, someone asks the first question. Sometimes my ambassadors are really good about it too. If it's kind of silent, no one's asking a question, they will pop in and ask a question because they know what their prospects want to know, which is really good. They'll message me and they'll say, they'll message me on the chat and they'll say, sorry, I opened the chat. They'll message me on the chat and they'll say, my prospect wants to know, does this product help with such and such and such and such? And so I'll be like, oh, this is a great question. And I'll read it for the group and then answer it. So we do that for whatever remainder of time we have. And then I say to everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you will get back with the ambassador who invited you to this call. They will discuss with you the 3 ways that you can join Plexus: retail, preferred, or as a distributor. It's very simple, and I hope that you all decide to join us in some way. We would love to have you. Kind of leave it like that. Whatever everybody says, thank you, thank you, thank you, goodbye, we end the call. So the other way we have been using this as a tool is when we get new distributors into the business. Valerie, you did this with me and Allison, didn't you? Yes, we did this driving down the road, I think.
Yes, you were.
So we were traveling last time, and we did. I don't know if that's my feedback. Is that my feedback? Yeah, it's. Okay, sorry. It's repeating everything I say back to myself. Okay, it's not doing it now. It's hard to listen to myself being repeated. Okay. But we use these also for new ambassador trainings of any kind. I mean, they can be a new ambassador. They can just be someone who's struggling and just needs that encouragement. But sometimes when you're struggling in your business, or maybe you've just started out, you just need to get on a little video chat with each other, right? To feel like you met in a coffee shop, or to feel like you just got together. And it just really helps to boost morale, to encourage you, to make you not feel alone, to answer your questions. So this has become one of my absolute favorite tools because I can do it from anywhere. I can do these Zoom chats from my phone, driving down the road if I need to. And they've really, really been beneficial. Another way Bridget has used them, she does a 15-minute call where people don't ask questions. I think she might allow time at the end, but she keeps hers to 15 minutes, so there's really not a lot of time for that. Mine, like I said, run 30 to 40 minutes long because we're kind of digging in deep. But her and Justin have one set up, like I think every Tuesday night at 6 p.m., just a recurring one, and she just gets on there. Anybody who wants to call in can, join in, and she goes through, like I said, like a Plexus opportunity call where she just talks through the products and the opportunity, and then that's it. But when you have something that you can invite people to, it makes your income producing activity so much easier, right? So you're sitting down. If you have not, who has the GoPro book? Do you guys have the Eric Worre's GoPro book? Okay, so I'm going to have to do the training. I've always encouraged everyone to buy that book because it is so awesome. It's at the top of my list. It was one of the first books I read. and it's highlighted, marked up. I did a training call the other night, and I read an entire chapter to somebody because I was like, you have to hear this. This is what we're talking about. But he gives the 7 steps to an invitation and how we properly invite people to things and how we get them to look at our opportunity. And it's an amazing method. I highly recommend it. You can also probably find the training on YouTube. It's a little bit harder, and it's over an hour long because it's him at a seminar kind of going through every single step. So if you have time, it's great. Otherwise, I'm going to put together a shorter training going through each step of that invitation process, because I think once everybody learns that, and then you have this in place, like a scheduled in place opportunity event, then all of you guys can just go crazy doing your invitations the right way, the way that they need to be done, and funneling people into constant events that are simple, that don't take preparation. It will take preparation for no one. I mean, Allison, basically, but she's talking from her gut. When you're talking from your gut about what you know, you don't have to write out a script. You don't have to do extra planning for it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about the triplex for 2 years now. We know how to talk about the triplex, and easily and simply and quickly, especially when you're doing something very brief. So while we have time, which is really exciting, I will just leave the floor open for you guys to ask questions. Anything that's just burning that you'd like to talk about, or anything you'd like me to briefly train on for a few minutes while we have time.
Well,
Allison's taking notes while I'm talking. She's the
well,
coolest. I need her to come home with me. No one takes notes while I talk. I'm like, what did I say? I don't know.
I don't know. I need a clone. I need a clone of you.
Okay.
If we could clone you, that would
and
be,
I
that would
want
be
to clone
great.
you, so we'll just be good.
I feel like I don't know about. I think Becky and Nancy they've kind of got a niche where they get people together and all.
Yeah.
Here in Memphis, I know something that we struggle with, even people that are sister ambassadors, what we struggle with is actually getting people to events. Or I'm thinking, okay, getting people on a Zoom chat. I know my team's really good. We average 10 to 12 people at least every month from our team.
Right.
It's grown a lot, but I have my faithful ambassadors that always show up. So, I know you're going to do the whole, the steps to an invitation, but I mean, how do you go about breaking this down to our teams so that they know how to talk about it? You know what I'm saying? Instead of it being just adding another thing to the busy schedule.
Well, right. Because you're going to be doing them at first, right?
Yeah.
Like how I'm doing them right now. Right now it's me. With all my level ones doing these meetings until they're comfortable. I usually do a couple, and then I'm like, okay, guys, you got this. Like, already know what to talk about. You already know what to do. And they've seen the format. They've joined in. They've invited people to the format, so they know how to then just go off and do it on their own.
Right.
And so they can take whoever's in their organization. Because like I said, this is not meant to be a Zoom call where we break records and 50 people are on here. I mean, I'm actually more comfortable when we have there's 6 of us total right now.
Yeah.
That's where I think the sweet spot is that when we have less than 10 people on a call, preferably in that, 3 to 6 range, because then people feel comfortable to talk. They feel comfortable to ask questions. They, they don't, there's not so many people on the screen that they feel like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm scared. I don't want to talk.
It's not intimidating.
It's not intimidating.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And so that's what I like about these is because they're easily duplicatable.
Right.
And you guys hear me saying that all the time. Are you duplicatable? If someone watched what you did, could they become a successful ambassador? That's always my question. When you're struggling in your business, I always say, do inventory, take inventory. Imagine you have a brand new, excited ambassador sitting right next to you, clocking in at your house every day, wanting to get a Plexus paycheck. If they came and sat with you at work every day, could they earn a Plexus paycheck by watching what you do? And so I feel like if they could, then you're doing all the right things.
Yeah.
You're being duplicatable. That means that successful people will join your team and they will go on to be successful because they sat with someone and followed someone who had success because they did their own work every day. And that work looks like that income producing activity of reaching out to new people on a regular, consistent basis and following up with people on a regular, consistent basis. And the way we get people on these calls is through the invitation process. You're confirming with them 2 times through this 7-step invitation process. At the end of it, you're confirming with them 2 times that they are attending the event. You didn't get them to commit to the event. They committed themselves through the invitation process. Because the invitation process is all about empowering them. The entire decision was made by them. You didn't pressure them into coming to this opportunity event. They asked basically to come to the opportunity event. And then you said, okay, so when we have this opportunity event at 7 p.m. Thursday night, you're for sure going to be there, right? And then they have to respond. You've put them in a position where they have to then really check themselves and say, am I committed to coming to this, right? Because if I said to you, okay, you said, yeah, a call this week would be great. And I'd say, okay, how does 7 o'clock on Thursday sound? Mm-hmm. And you say, that sounds great. And I say, okay, so if I call you Thursday at 7 o'clock, you're going to answer the phone and be available, right? And then you got to be like, yeah, but you got to check yourself.
Yeah.
Because you fully committed now to something.
It's almost not like it's a double question. Like
it is a double question.
And then you're following up with the
closing of yes. Because it's one thing to say, would you like to attend this opportunity event I have this week? Yeah, sure, great. Okay, can't wait to see you there. What happens to your prospect? Thursday comes and they were at a ball game. They didn't even have a second thought about your invitation, correct? But when you say, hey, Phyllis, would you like to join me Thursday night at 7 o'clock to hear more information about Plexus? And you say, sure, that sounds great. Okay, awesome. So I've got you down Thursday night, 7 o'clock for our call. Here's the information. Okay. So you're absolutely going to be there on Thursday. You know what I mean? You're like taking that second and third extra step to confirm with them where they are now committed. You didn't commit them. They committed themselves. So the likelihood that they show up is very high, especially when you send them a reminder the night before and say, can't wait to see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. That's something they already committed to.
You also mentioned something about sending your prospective customers maybe a little video introduction on how to...
I do. If anyone ever has a question about what a Zoom is or says, I've never heard of that, what is that? I send them on YouTube. You can go to the Zoom channel. Allison will put the link on her team page. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Allison has the link to the video. The video is very short. It's less than 3 minutes, and it shows them exactly how to join a Zoom opportunity call. It's so simple because you guys know how simple it is. You just click on the link, right? But it can sound intimidating and overwhelming if you've never seen it. And this is a video, so they actually see what they're supposed to do, and it makes it really simple. So once people get used to it, once you're really comfortable with it and you're doing them all the time, one of the things that Eric and Amy Paul do, they're the ones who introduced me to this format of doing their prospecting because that's how they do it, is, they were in Hawaii and they had people over in the States. I mean, how are you going to do opportunity events?
Yeah.
This is the only way to do that. And what Eric does is he has like a digital business card, on his phone that he can text to somebody, and it has their Zoom ID number, because you can join a meeting by an ID number. And so it just has that. And he basically sends that to them and says, the call's 7 o'clock Thursday night, here's the number, or whatever. And they have it right there. So there's lots of different ways to do it. Lots of different ways that it's really simple. If I can find a picture of that.
Is it a square thing?
It's
no, that's a link that takes you to your website.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to remember where Eric and Amy put it.
It's just the meeting code that he puts on the business cards.
It's his digital business card, and I'm going to see if I can find it really quick.
Did y'all have any questions? Anybody have any specific questions? Y'all are quiet tonight.
Maybe they're in food comas.
Oh, maybe we're what?
She goes, Valerie. Sorry, that's okay.
How different is it hosting a Zoom meeting as opposed to just joining and watching? Like what kind of different things do you have to do? Anything different?
You can sign up for a Zoom account for free.
I think I have one.
Yeah. All you have to do is go into your account and you can schedule. Like if you know, for instance, that maybe you want to do one, Tuesday night, you're going to go in and you're going to schedule that. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to send that to the people that would be interested.
Okay.
Yeah. And then what you would do is you would go back when it's time and you click on start the meeting.
Okay.
And so, I think it's 40, you have 40 minutes. And so,
which will make you stay on time. Mm-hmm. Like you have to stay on time because it just literally cuts off at 40 minutes. So don't press that go button don't join 10 minutes early, just waiting on people. You just start at 8:00 exactly, or whatever time you picked exactly, and then get right into it. You might allow 2 minutes for people to join or 3 minutes for people to join. The other option is that you can upgrade your account once you get to, if that's something you want to invest in your business. If you're doing these all the time or using the service a lot or having a lot of people join you, it's, I think $14.99, and then we get 10% off.
Oh, that's right.
And we get longer than an hour.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's like you get much longer time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Just for the basic
for the basic upgrade, yeah. So the basic upgrade, I think, allows 50 participants.
Up to 50.
And we get way more time. I mean, I know I've talked like over an hour and it never cut me off. And so that's really great. And we have a Plexus discount. So that gives us 10% off of Zoom, which is great. Yep. So I'm asking my friend for that digital business card, what it looks like. And, because you could make just a little graphic, with your Zoom ID or whatever, if you wanted to make it really simple and send it to people as part of the invitation, that would be really easy too. So any more questions? Does this sound like something you could do? Mm-hmm. Yep. Do you think it would be a good way to funnel your prospects into something? I think it takes a lot of pressure off of me when I have events. When I have events, it is so much easier to talk to people because I can say, hey, I can message all kinds of random people out of the blue, right? I'm having this event Thursday night, just get to hear a little bit more about Plexus, and I go through that 7-step invitation process, and it just makes it really easy. So when I'm doing my IPA, I'm not feeling as intimidated if I have something to invite people to as I am when I'm trying to close a deal, or feel the pressure of closing a deal by messaging somebody. So that's all I got.
Y'all, we never get Rhonda.
I know.
Now or forever hold your peace. I will say, I have one more question, and I don't know, maybe y'all deal with this too, but there are times that I sometimes feel like I can get people through the products, what they do. I can ask enough questions and know exactly what products are going to be tailored and perfect for them. But my ratio of closing could be higher. I'm not always successful getting people to pull the trigger and actually take action on it. So how would you say that I could maybe improve on, how do you get people to actually step out and just do it already?
Probably follow up. I try to do that same technique of the invitation of getting them to decide or commit. Basically, I'm letting them decide when I'm going to follow up with them versus me just randomly picking. Now, for some people, I have to, because if no one replies to me, you get randomly chosen to be followed up with because you did not reply to me. But if I'm in a conversation, they're interested in the products, they're interested in the opportunity, I'm getting them to make some kind of decision, not necessarily that they're purchasing right now, but the date as to when they will purchase, the time as to when they will commit. So I'm saying things to them like, I'm trying to think of an example of a conversation I just had. I said, great. She said, I really am interested in the products. And I say, that's awesome. Do you have any more questions about them? No, I don't have any more questions. I'm just going to think about it. And I say, okay, so when will be a good time for me to contact you again to help follow up with you to see if I can help you place an order or if you have any more questions? So I make them pick a time, so they say they have to think that through. Right, of when would be a good time for me to call. So that way when I go to message them, that was the time they picked. So I don't have to feel uncomfortable about pestering them again, or feel like I'm pestering them. They picked the time that I would follow up.
Yeah.
And if they won't, I say, okay, so I'll reach out to you next week. Does that sound good? And if they say, yeah, that sounds great, I'll say, okay, I will message you next Thursday and let's see if we can't help you place your order. Whatever. And they say, okay, great. So when I message them again next Thursday and they don't reply, I'm not feeling bad because they already knew I was going to reply. And they may not reply to me on Thursday, but they might reply back to me by Saturday, of that message that I sent them. So just getting people for them to make the decision. It's just a technique that you're just learning. It takes kind of some skill and some learning, but if you ask the right questions, it's really simple. It's more of a psychology thing that you're doing. It's not manipulative. It's just the way our brains work. It's the way people help us make decisions. I know my husband does that to me. If I just have like an idea, but it's not a reality, he asks the questions to make it become something I have to commit to, something I have to make a reality to. So he says, oh, so you're really serious about that? And I say, well, I think I am, but I really have to think that through some more. And he says, okay, so why don't we go on a date tomorrow and talk that through? And I say, okay, well, I guess I can do that. So then we go on the date the next day, and then he makes me talk it through. And then he makes me do the next step and the next thing of what would come next. And it's a loving thing, right? You're helping someone come to the conclusion to make the decision to potentially change their life or their health. A lot of times I'll throw out a question and I'll say, what's holding you back? What's holding you back from purchasing? Or what's holding you back from joining? I feel like there's got to be some kind of fear there, or something that you're worried about. What is it? Let me help you with that. Just anything to kind of help draw them out. I love what Lori Harrison says, where their first question is never the question. I've always remembered that too. If somebody sends me a message, how much is Plexus Slim? I'm not going to tell you. And it's not because I don't want to tell you. It's because I know that's not what your question is. And so my job is to draw out what are they really interested in. Usually it's, will this product work for me? That's what they really want to know. But it's easy to message me and say, how much does Plexus Slim cost? That's the easy thing to do when you're scared and you're not sure if this will work and you're not sure about how expensive it is. It's the easy thing to do, to reach out, and they can find out how much it is. They only have to go to a website. They only have to type in Plexus on Google and figure out how much something is. That's not their real question. So just remember that when people are reaching out to you, dig deeper, ask more questions, get to know them, right? I was talking to someone the other day and they said, how would you handle such and such? And I said, well, that's so hard because I have 20 questions right now for that person. And once I get through my 20 questions, then I might have a better idea or a more formulation about how I could help them or how this could help them. You really have to know somebody to know what to do. Yeah. Ask them, the more comfortable they're going to feel with you, because they're going to feel like you really do care about them, and you didn't just give them a number and say, oh, it's $79.95, and then you message them the next day and say, hey, so did you want to buy some? And they're like, Well, I don't know, because I had about 50 questions. So then they might just drop off the planet, or someone else might prospect them and take their time and develop a relationship and ask a lot of questions and really get to know them. We have to be patient, but persistent. And if you're patient and you're persistent on a daily basis, your business will move faster. It's really just our speed. I can be patient and persistent messaging 20 to 30 people a day if I wanted to. It's just a choice. And in the beginning, I was messaging a lot of people every day because I really, really wanted to move fast through the company. I saw the vision. I saw the compensation plan. I knew that if I didn't move fast, my husband would not let me do this business because I had to make a certain amount of income for him to think it was a legitimate business. And it was a lot he was asking me to make a lot of money at the time. And so I was just like, I got to go fast. So the only way I know to go fast is talk to more people, because they say the person who talks to the most people wins. And I think about that all the time. I have all these one-liners that run through my head every day in my business. That's one of them. The person who talks to the most people wins. Another one I say to myself, if my calendar is not full, I'm unemployed. Just lots of different little things I've learned through the network marketing books and trainings that I've done. These little one-liners that push me and remind me of where I am in my business and where I want to be. Another one is the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. Another one is I can't ask anybody to do something I'm not doing myself. That's a big checker when you're a trainer and you've got a big team. Can't ask you guys to do anything I don't do myself. Just things like that it sounds simple, but I tell people all the time, if you're making it complicated, that's why you're struggling, because this business is not complicated. It is so simple. It's so simple my 14-year-old can do it and does it on a regular basis and says to me she can't wait to be a Plexus ambassador because it's so simple. She gets what I do. She sees how easy it is. She sees that all I need is Wi-Fi and a phone and the courage to talk to people, and that she sees that we have something that they need. Like, that's what excites her. Everywhere we go, she's like, that person needs Plexus. Wow, that person needs Plexus. And so that's what you got to remember. Everybody, there's millions of people in the world. We have a product that can suit millions of people. We're not selling a candle or earrings or a necklace or something that's very specific and something that you can find everywhere. You cannot find triplex anywhere else. There is not a health food store on the planet that carries it. You can find it at Plexus. I've taken thousands of dollars of supplements. My cabinets were full of them. Never had I been able to create what I am taking at Plexus. The life-changing results that I've had through Plexus are unbelievable. And I can't find them anywhere else. And when you remember that every day and you're walking around and you're in the mall and you're like, there's like hundreds of people here. I'm never going to run out of people to talk to about Plexus. Not ever. That choice is mine. The only reason I run out of people to talk to about Plexus is because I'm not meeting new people every day. I'm choosing not to develop relationships. I'm choosing not to say hi to someone or develop a relationship with someone, because your prospect list should be growing every day. That reminds me of another one-liner. Sarah Robbins says, I think she says 3 or 5. I think she says, 5 prospects a day keeps business coming your way. And she makes it a goal to make sure that she talks to 5 people every day about her opportunity or her products. And that is such a good foundation. We call that diamond pace. If you're talking to 5 people a day about Plexus and then following up with at least 3 people a day and then doing one training a day of either yourself or a member of your team, reading one network marketing book, a chapter of self-development, leadership, growth, whatever, that's diamond pace. That's what diamonds do to get to where they are. And they do it consistently every day. I mean, obviously everyone's got a day off, Sunday, Saturday, whatever. But even then, my busiest times are sometimes on the weekend because that's when people are off work. That's when they're thinking about it. You just take the opportunity when the opportunity comes and you jump on it. So
yeah. That's good. Is that helpful? Yes. Okay. Very helpful. Rhonda-isms.
That's what you can call them. They come from a bunch of different people, not me, but they always stick with me all the time, and just kind of like they become part of you. So when you're working every day, you're just thinking all those things. If I'm struggling, I'm looking at my calendar and it's empty. I know why I'm struggling, because I'm unemployed. I'm an unemployed ambassador. And I'm like, oh, I got to fill that thing up. So then it becomes a mission to fill up my calendar. And that only comes by talking to people. And then before you know it, I'm like, oh, I got an appointment on Friday. I'm talking to somebody on Wednesday. I'm talking to somebody on Monday, and then you start feeling the wheels turning again. And you're like, oh, this feels good. I like this pace. I like knowing that I have people to talk to.
I call it a funnel, because Lance has been in the insurance business for years and years and years. And he's usually been in a commission-only position. And so he would have this business funnel that he'd have to load the funnel, and then he would have to sell it, get issued. But as that funnel emptied, he would have to keep the funnel full. Otherwise, business gets issued. Yeah, you get paid and then you got nothing. So it's a little bit like that. Load the wagon or load the funnel. So
it is. I think people have some misconceptions about network marketing, or think maybe that they get into it and because they hear like if you apply this massive amount of effort, then you'll be able to like sit back and collect a residual income. Well, I don't want that to totally be deceiving. On the front end, they built a business. So they had a funnel full for years and years and years. And then there came a day where they took a step back and maybe they didn't fill their funnel as quickly, or didn't have to fill their funnel as quickly as they continue to collect residual income. Like here I am at a Diamond, and I don't have to contact 10 people a day about Plexus, but I did. And I had to do that for a long time to move at the pace that I wanted to, and to grow as fast as I wanted to grow. Because your pace is up to you. You can grow. I mean, I'd be content if it took me 10 years to be a diamond, like for that income. It's unbelievable income. It's so life-changing and so awesome. But that wasn't the pace I was happy with. You have to go at the pace that you're happy with. Once I decided to be a diamond, I needed to be a diamond the day before I decided. That's my personality. So I had to contact that many people a day. Nobody was telling me to do it. Nobody was making me to do it. I was making me do it, because I knew the pace I needed to move to be satisfied. And I wasn't satisfied. I was thinking of that Top Gun quote where he's like, you're not happy unless you're going, Mach 10 with your hair on fire. That's me in Plexus. I was not happy unless my hair was on fire and I was, going,
Mocked in?
Yeah, mocked in. I mean, I just wasn't happy. I was frustrated in my business, and it was just me, not anybody else putting that pressure on me. But now, I mean, my kids all knew this. My kids all had these things. When mom goes diamond, we get to do this. When mom goes diamond, we get to do that, because I said, look, until we're there, this is what life's going to look like. And I needed it to be short, not just for me, but for them. They're little. I don't want to miss them being little. I don't want to miss my time with them and homeschooling them and all those joys and all of that. I knew I had these kids and they needed my attention and my time, and I knew I needed to get this done and behind me quickly so that I could then sit and work a reasonable pace on a daily basis, a part-time job from home with my kids that just requires, 2 or 3 hours of my day, and then the rest of the day is my kids, right? That's what I was shooting for. I knew that if I worked Plexus just kind of 30 minutes a day, I might be working Plexus for the next 5 years to be a diamond. And I didn't want to draw it out that long for my kids. I didn't want that struggle to be there for me and for them. So that was why I went crazy.
Do you know, what is the longest, the longest amount of time that it's taken for somebody to hit jewel level?
In Plexus?
Uh-huh. I mean, we always know the fastest.
3 years, maybe?
3 years?
I think the longest that I've heard of for someone to hit jewel level in Plexus has been like 2.5 or 3 years. Maybe someone that was working for jewel level. I'm not talking about, obviously people join us or, whatever, and that's not really their interest, or they don't even catch the vision till a year in, or, something like that. So that's hard to gauge how long it really takes someone to get there, because, I heard another quote today. Guys, I'm always listening to stuff. I just want you to know, like, if you don't feel yourself, you have nothing to give, right? So every day I have to fill myself with God's word, and I have to fill myself with training and content and stuff from other people. And he was talking about how people say, well, it took me 10 years to get there, or it took me this, whatever. And he goes, it might feel like it took you to 10 years to get there, but it took you 1 second to get there, because the moment you decided is the moment you got there. And that's always, I was like, yes, that's exactly right. Because people may say, well, it took me 3 years to get to Emerald. But I want to know, when did you decide to be an Emerald? Then how long did it take you? And when you ask them, that time goes from like 3 years to like much, much shorter. Because they were like, like I think about Fallon Black. Mm-hmm. And if you Google or go to YouTube and type in Fallon Black plexus, I think you'll find her testimony. I know I've posted it at my team page before, because it's so powerful what happened to her. It was about her mindset and her growth. And she talks about how she went gold really quickly, but then it just kind of all fell apart. And she was going nowhere, and she was losing team members and all this stuff. And she realized, she looked within, she talked to her upline, and her upline said, I can't help you. And that was like a wake-up call for her. She was like, I've done all I can. I've told you all I can. I can't help you. And she's like, why can't you help me? And she's like, because you're negative, because you don't want to grow, because you don't want to do the things you have to do to get to where you want to go. And she was like, okay, I'm willing. Tell me what to do. And so she gave her assignments. She told her what to do. She told her some books to go read. She told her some things to do. And she basically, I think she said, took 5 months where all she did was personal growth. I don't even think she added anybody to her team.
She said she didn't even look at her back office.
Yeah, she would not even go into her back office. It was only about personal growth, and that was it. And after that, how long? It didn't take her long to go diamond after that.
No,
less than a year.
Yeah, I was thinking it was within a year at least.
Yeah, within a
no
year.
Longer than a year.
After that, like 5 months of just focus on personal growth, reading all those books, she went diamond within a year. I think that's pretty unbelievable. But you know what? It was because she decided. She got to a point where she decided. Yeah. And that's what it takes for people. Is, we can give you all the training and all these tools, and we can do Zoom opportunity events, and we can do millions of them. But until you decide, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going, nothing is stopping me, here we go, this is my plan, and your belief is just over the top, then I tell people, then you'll be there.
And you know what I think too? I think, because not everybody has the personality like you have. Not everyone has to go Mach 10.
No.
I mean, you can go Mach 3.
Right.
And still hit Emerald. And because,
okay, let me tell you something. Allison's going to be a Plexus Diamond. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, because Allison has already decided. The whole reason that we're sitting here even doing a Zoom call when I'm coming to visit your house is because Allison made a decision. You made a decision when you joined me. I mean, she didn't even join me saying, oh, I'm going to try these products out and see how it goes. She joined me saying, I want to do this business. This is a great time in my life. My kids are older. I need to focus on me and my health. This is something that that Lance and I do and have in common, and leadership and all of that. So it doesn't matter if your journey to diamond takes you 5 years. I have no doubts. I don't have to sit and have counseling calls with Allison about how she can become a diamond. She's already becoming a diamond. There's a difference, and that's what I'm trying, and that's what I think you're trying to clarify too. We're just talking about if you're struggling with your pace or your growth, a lot of times it's because you haven't decided. Allison is content and satisfied with the journey that she's on because she's already made her decision, and this is the pace she's going. I'm good with it. She's good with it. This fits her and her lifestyle and her personality. But if there's somebody who's not satisfied, or their business isn't growing at all, Allison's business is growing, so that's not even the question here. But if your business is not growing, or you're super dissatisfied with the pace of your business, and you're saying, why am I not getting anywhere? Why is this going backwards? Or why is this not doing this? It's because it's usually a decision. Someone hasn't drawn that line in the sand, or a fear is holding them back. They're constantly telling themselves something negative, like, I'm never going to be a diamond, or I'm never going to get to jewel level, or I'm never going to be able to do this, or never going to get comfortable where I can talk to people, or never be this, or never be that. guys, I wasn't this 2.5 years ago. This is called personal growth and development. It's called, this is my 100th training call or Zoom call or whatever this is. I mean, I remember through November, I was doing 4 a day. I mean, if you did 4 trainings a day for 60 or 90 days, how good at trainings would you become, right? We can't measure ourselves against other people because we're not the same and we're not traveling at the same growth and we didn't come from the same experiences. You know, I took a speech class in college. Not everybody took a speech class in college and had to learn public speaking. You know, most people would rather be set on fire, they said, than do public speaking. So I'm thinking it's pretty bad for most people, right?
You're talking a lot about fire. Your hair on fire, set on fire. There's a theme.
There's a theme. Fire is my theme. And I do tell people all the time, you're on fire, because I love it. To me, fire symbolizes creation and intensity and growth and light and life and just all of it, you know, like an all-consuming fire. And so I do use that analogy a lot. Thank you for dissecting me. She's like using fire. Like she's like, it's like coming out of your brain.
It's like the day of Pentecost over here.
Woo! Turn the fan back on.
Oh gosh.
Okay, that's enough of my speech.
Yeah. Okay. This was good.
It was
I'm glad
good.
y'all jumped on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rhonda's going to show me so I can make sure how to upload these to YouTube. And so I'm going to start putting some videos on YouTube. Is that okay, you think, to put our training, like even Zoom calls on YouTube?
I do. Okay. I mean, if there's something you said in it that you can make it private. Like I'll show you how you can make a video
so
private.
Where my subscribers can even see it? Okay. And I'll probably put this in our team page. So, all right.
Right.
But yes, y'all get these on the books. Start. I will do them for you. So you just invite people and let me know when you want to do them, and we'll schedule it, and we'll get it done. All right, y'all in?
Thank you, ladies.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.